Welcome back to my channel, Mindful Connections. Carrie Marie here, and in a wonderful different view of my studio here. And I just wanted to touch base on some things that maybe we take for granted in this world. And where this actually comes from and is inspired from is I recently had the opportunity to go on a music tour, a trolley music tour of downtown Nashville, and going through the history of the music of the town and how it progresses and some of the great legends that are known worldwide, and one of the most encouraging things that came from that is just seeing the imperfections that actually occurred that nobody really seems to notice. And this gets exciting because we don't think of imperfections within recording of Elvis Presley, or the imperfections of well, I should say the reality of what the studios look like, or the fact that I don't even remember the song anymore, but because we went through so much content, but just learning that the way that the recording used to be, and how some of those recordings, like, because they didn't have the ability to go back and edit the same way we do in our digital age, you never know. Hey, there's a little hidden sneeze in the background of that little piece of the music, and they end up keeping that in there. Or the fact that maybe they don't play it exactly. It's just not digitally corrected. It's more raw. It's more real. And even learning that some of it was done by really highly skilled musicians. The music part was recorded not by the original artists, but the vocals, yes, definitely, but the music played, the guitar, the drums, the bass, the piano, any of that was done by people in the background. Why? Because they didn't have the ability to go back and edit. It was a one-take situation. And, that to me is interesting as an artist, as a photographer, as, somebody who works with digital equipment, and also, going through film photography school, understanding the difference in what we have today in our tools and how lucky we are that we can edit the way that we do, but also having this great appreciation for the people who did it without those tools, who had to do essentially all of it analog, right? Do it by hand. And, that translates to me in that musical history, understanding that detail translates to me because, the difference between digital photography and film photography is that all these editing tools that you have in your digital film is different, because you're doing it by hand in the darkroom. You're doing it every step of the way, from the moment you're taking the photo to the moment you're having to produce the film and develop it, and you're going through the enlarging process, dodging and burning and all of that, and then you're developing the paper, and you have to go back and correct what mistakes. You have to make these adjustments, timing, light exposure, all of it. And there's so much to be learned and appreciated with learning from the non-digital era. And it's refreshing to know how some of the music was even made, some of the stuff that we hear on a day-to-day basis that were profound leaps in our technology, or in the way that we listen to music. It's really impacting because you get the joy of understanding, like, hey, they didn't have it perfect either. But you know what? That didn't stop them. It didn't stop them from doing and achieving what they set out to do. And in a way, I don't even know if they understood how much they were embracing the imperfections in the process. Now, if they had a chance to look at what it's like today in this digital era, I think that there'd be a different perspective. But I I think that this is encouraging because in this day in life, we have this mentality that constantly comes up that everything we do has to be perfect. Everything we have to do has to be refined, edited, or really just you have to have this persona of you were the all at perfectness of that, whatever it is you're doing. Whether you're a business manager, CEO, artist, working in the studio, musician, any of that, right? But it translates also in the painting world, as I have history in fine art and painting, things like that as well. And what makes the art, what makes the classics great is just the fact that they embraced what tools they did have. They got creative in achieving a certain outcome, and they didn't let the imperfections stop them. A lot of the fine art we see, you'd be surprised at how many artists do their work and they're their worst critics. They will hear every imperfection or see every imperfection in the art that they produce. And everybody else sees it as, that's beautiful, that's perfect. Why? Because that is the human condition. None of us are perfect. Nothing we do is absolutely perfect. And that's okay. The fact is that we set out for a goal, we take our successful steps forward, and we end up achieving our goal in the midst of our imperfections. And I think that down in the core of each human being, that we can recognize that a little bit, and whether we acknowledge it is a whole different thing. But the fact is that it's a great opportunity to remind ourselves that you're not going to have all the answers as you go. You'll learn and you'll grow and you'll develop as you move forward. You'll learn from your failures, you'll learn from your successes, and that is what the messy life is of a human being. But that's also the beauty of it. Because my flaws aren't the same as somebody else's. My successes aren't the same as somebody else's. And same as yours. And your individual journey, your individual story, that success, those moments moving forward, reaching a goal, that's what speaks. So I have this term that I use quite often. I created a hashtag called "Seeking Success as You Are." And that's what this is all about. That's what this whole thing that I've been talking about today is about seeking success as you are. That doesn't mean that you stay in a non-progressive state. You won't always progress forward. But it means that you would look and evaluate at what tools you have in your tool bucket. What's actually available to you, and you make it work. You find a way creatively to make it work. Take this studio, for example. You wouldn't know unless I told you that's a shoe rack that those flowers are sitting in. It works. I took the tools that I had and I made it work. The wallpaper that I put up that didn't look like this, I painted things, I put things up, I made this space. I put the desk in, installed a custom desk because there is only so much width I've got in this little studio here, right? And you'd be amazed at what you can do with the tools that you have available, with the space you have available in your life. And things are more functional than you give it credit for. So I challenge you to think creatively, embrace what you have, what is around you, and figure out creative ways to have successful steps moving forward. Because ultimately that's what it is. It's a step by step by step process. And that doesn't mean that you won't have moments that you get stuck. It's okay. It's perfectly normal. I like to think of, when I get stuck, I will take time and evaluate. I will sit with myself. I will be still. Why? Because I know that in the midst of that being stuck, if I sit there with myself, if I pay attention and start observing about things around me, take the time to acknowledge what it is that's making me stuck, that is the very first step in finding your creative solutions. And it's an important thing, no matter what you do in life. So, and I'm here today, no makeup, still in my sweats, because it's true to that. This is imperfection, but it's truth. It's a tool that I have that doesn't stop me from creating a video in my channel. In reality, it doesn't. And I like to think that I hope that sitting here before you without makeup, without being polished, is a good physical reminder and encouragement that, you know, you can do it still. You can do it, and try not to get hung up on the little things. Keep moving forward. Your successful steps are there, and you'll be able to reach your goals. All right, so embrace the flaws and the perspectives and that you think are flaws, and see how you can turn them into a tool to move forward and to positively impact your life. You never know who it's going to positively impact someone else's life too. So again, Mindful Connections with Carrie Marie here, and have a great day.